Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week we're gonna dip into this kit, this particular box art version, everything. This is my favorite letdown, um, but there really needs to be some more context to that because this kit's been around a long time. It's been reissued many times, but this particular version, having experienced the kit before this came out, and when this actually came out, this version with this box art and everything, I kind of already knew what was in here and what I was getting into. But because of all this, this goes back to 2005 when this was issued, and but this was back when RC2 owned it. So, and this is 2004. So we can't really complain to round two, because they've inherited this and they've done some updates to it, but they've reissued this kit as well. So it's been issued multiple times. I'll throw some box arts up there and we'll get into some of the story, but this one, there's a lot to this particular version with the box art and everything that I want to get into. But first, some context. Like I said, this is from 2005, and this is the Walmart checkerboard issue. For those of you guys at the time, these checkerboard ones were Walmart exclusives, and they were $5, or at least they clearanced them out at $5. So I'd seen these and grabbed some of these, but there were other versions also with the same checkerboard art. But that was literally 20 years ago now. And there were some good ones out there that we grabbed, and there were some like this that were pretty bad. But I don't want to, before I really get into pointing out all the flaws and issues with this, I want to point out that it's not, this is probably the worst version of this tool. My favorite is this one, even though this dates back to 1987. So much so, I've got a couple of them. I seem to pick them up when I'm not looking for them. Let's see, this one's the open one. So I'll get into this one. But one of the things with this 87 issue is it's the Charger 500, which they did reissue it again. And matter of fact, here's the box art of it. It was much later, red car. But that one, it was much like this other one, same time frame. The wheels that are in there are not in the box. If you look closely at the chassis, it's been chassis swapped. So it's not, what's in the box as well. But this one is. I mean, you can see the Hemi here, the interior, the wheels, the engine. So what's represented on this box from 87, the Ertl company, which I think had to do with this. And what's in here is, what belongs. But there are some flaws. Now, one of the things I always look for with these is a lot of these, and this is one of the reasons why I go for this one, this has the correct 69 hood. So I looked for that one. That's the hood before it turned into the Daytona. Even though on the box art, it has the Daytona hood. It's much narrower right here. So there's the Daytona hood. This is not the Daytona hood. You can see it's much farther spacing here. This is the correct 69 Charger hood, which this one also has. So when I see these things, I look for that first. And there's one other thing that this particular body has that none of the others have, and I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Right under the taillight, right there, I think you can see it. It says 500. Now, there is a 500 emblem on the Charger 500s. It's more out than there, but it's on this body, but it's nearly impossible to detail because it's so faint. Correct rear window. And one of the things I want to point out that even this issue has, that I'll point out later, it's got the rear wheel molding right here. Where's the front one? Okay. That's something that's been missing for a long time. Now, this tooling actually goes all the way back to the original 1969 tooling, and it's been retooled and redone and body changed, and so it's been through a lot. But since I got it out here, there's the Charger 500 grill, the Magnum 500 wheels, so a lot of this stuff, but there's not much to it. But this is my favorite version of this, but it predates the Daytona a little bit. It's about the same time. So that one is my favorite. And then, round two, the Dukes of Hazzard version has been issued many, many times. And this is one of the last ones. This is actually from 2011, but this is what round 2 does now, to give you a hint. They print on the bottom of the box. These are the contents. You can see how simplified the kit is and everything that's in there. And the pictures are pretty decent. You can tell it has a Daytona hood here in that picture, whether it's 100% accurate or not. But you can see all of the parts here. The Hemi parts, this and that. But this is one of the ones where they actually somewhat corrected the body. There's some other parts in here as well. I haven't opened this one, but they did correct the rear window a little bit, so it's no longer the Charger 500 body. So that was one of the reasons why I picked up this version, was I heard that they had fixed that. So I went ahead and picked it up to do it generally. But here's another one of those yellow hoods that I always look for, because this one has the Daytona hood, which is right there. But all the rest of the parts are in here from the 69 Charger that are in there, and a couple of the Dukes of Hazzard parts as well, along with the wheels here and the not so good 69 Charger grill front end here. But a lot of the same parts. So there are different versions of this same tool, simplified tooling, but will challenge you. But this one, to get more specific into this one, the bottom doesn't tell you much of anything, okay? But when you look at these pictures, a lot of people, they would notice these wheels, okay? The red line tires. You can kind of see some of the front suspension there. That's kind of a hint. Headrests, okay? Now, and then this mirror. And there's some of the parts. It's got the Daytona hood. When you go into these side pictures here, you can see the wheels here. You can see the front suspension and stuff there. There's no pictures of the underside. The shifter and the interior here, which is, fairly nice, okay. The rear wing, and then this engine compartment picture. Now, if you look closely, that's a pretty nice Hemi. It's got plug wires, heater hoses, wiper motor, the master cylinder, battery, and a really nice interior, or engine compartment stuff. So some nice stuff in there. None of this is in the box. None of this is in the box. Okay, so we get what's in here. You start to look closely at it. Okay, there's the instructions. And this is a kit that will challenge you. It can be built, but it'll challenge you, and you will need some skills. You will develop skills building this model kit, especially if you try to get it as close to that as possible. But what's in this box, you cannot build that. So one of the first things here, when we go through the instructions, all right, I'm going to go through this. Here's your Hemi engine with a single 4-barrel round air cleaner. Should be dual 4 barrels. Distributor, the headers here. Okay. Here's your custom engine with the dual quads stuff. These parts are in this thing. All right. So you've got supercharger, and you've got the interior here with the race parts, steering wheel, tack, seats, no headrests. Okay. Then you got your battery, your interior, or engine compartment, real simplified chassis, your wheels. So you got your stock Magnum 500s, these custom wheels, which there are not 4 of these, so assemble 2 sets. It's just kind of funny. That kind of leads you to believe you got front and rears. Then you got the deep ones, and then there's the rest of it. And then your body. Okay, there's your wing. I like this part. Paint body before assembly. Some factory colors are included. Here's this. Where's the part where it talks about the nose? Oh, right here. This is what I'm looking for. Note, body putty may be used to blend nose to body. Okay, so there's some serious work. Use with or without hood scoop. Doesn't say about cutting the thing out. You can see it's not here in this one. On mine, when I built it, I cut that out. So in the body here, here's the body. There's the Charger 500 rear window. Does not have 500 back here, so that's gone. It disappeared, but here's that wheel opening molding. No wheel opening molding. This is just your normal 69 Charger body here. Okay. Then here's some of the Daytona parts, the wings. Here's one of the sides, the radiator, the scoops that go on the fender. Some of the parts have fallen off of this. Here's your Hemi, your headers. The air cleaner, that should be chrome, but it's not. But that's correct for 69, the round air cleaner. There's the dual quads, which should be under there. I don't think the carburetors fit very well. Here's the glass for it. Here's your steering wheel, your dash, a lot of your supercharger parts right here. Here's the centerpiece of the wing. Here's your chrome tree. Here's the Magnum 500s. Here's the 2 deep dish wheels, and here's the 2 shallow ones. So while the instructions kind of mention you got enough of these, you don't. Okay, there's the 69 Charger front end, so you can still make the regular 69 Charger with the parts that are in here, not use the nose cone. Here's that very simplified chassis engine compartment. There you go. Here's that interior tub, which is on the box art that they used. Okay. Here's the seats. Here's the suspension exhaust, the firewall with the molded in brake booster. There's, a hint of a wiper motor. Okay. Then you've got your Hemi heads, wheel backs, console, single 4-barrel distributor. And then this one's kind of been started. There's a hood scoop. Here's the nose cone that you got to blend in. Here's one of the pieces. And you've really got to work this. So to get this on here, there's no positive spot for this to line up to. You just kind of get it on there as best as you can. Okay. And then you've got to graft this in, which this goes on the side too. So you've got to get all these parts to work together and line up. You can see there's a gap there, getting it to line up. And then there's that, which I remember cutting that out. Okay. Now, it's quite a bit of work. Oh, and here's the decal since we're talking about it. So there's the decals. Now I've got another one here. Now this is not mine. This is loaned to me from Greg Wan. So he had a couple of these, and it was just one of those that I was telling him about it and decided, you know what, let me borrow those and I'll make a video. So here's one. Here's the other one that another builder had started to do. So you can see what they were going through, and no wheel opening molding, all the putty work trying to get that nose cone to work. Okay. And the putty work on this is cracking. Don't know how old this is or what putty they used. They left that in there. There should be a spoiler here, which I don't believe is in the kit. Okay. So we got all that stuff, and this one kind of been, started in project, but not gotten very far. And here's the Daytona hood, which is correct for this version. As you can see the hood itself, especially since this one's painted, so you can see all the detail there. So, and then they sanded the Hemi emblem off of there, which is kind of odd because the motor is a Hemi in the kit, but this particular builder chose to sand that off. But this one was well on its way. Now, going back to the box art, if you want these wheels, they're in the 69 Barracuda kit. So this is a kit bashed build here. So these wheels, they're in that 69 Barracuda kit, which was also available in this box art. And then this whole engine and this whole engine compartment here, if you look closely at it, if you guys are familiar with it, that's a 68 Roadrunners chassis, which is, in the early ones, that was the only one that came with the Hemi. The 69 GTX had a 440 in it, and then the 70 Super B had the 446 pack, but they all use the same chassis. So they had this whole engine compartment with that brake booster, that master cylinder, or not brake booster, master cylinder, wiper motor, this whole firewall and all this stuff. The builder added the wires, of course, that radiator, the sport. This part, I believe, is in this kit, but they chassis swapped this. You can see the front suspension and the sway bar in that picture hanging underneath, the different exhaust tips here. And the last thing is these headrests. If you're looking for those, the 69 GTX has headrests, but I believe they're molded to the seats. The ones that come off like this, you would need the Revell 69 Dart GTS, or even their 69 Daytona or 69 Charger. because those kits were available by the time this particular one was made. So it's kind of funny that Revell came out with their Daytona in 97, 98. This mirror, I believe, is also from the Roadrunner GTX kits. Also the 69 Charger kit. So that could be from the 69 Charger from Revell, these headrests. So it's kind of funny these parts are in there. Oh, and a rearview mirror. I forgot. There's no rearview mirror in this kit also. So some of the details and everything in this kit. But this is probably the most misleading of the box arts. It's been reissued, I think a couple of times like this, but it's been issued a few more times. But round 2 has done a better job because they put this on the bottom of the box. So you got a better idea looking at the bottom, if you look, what you're going to get. But it's still a very challenging kit, and it will challenge your skills. Now, I said I did build this a long time ago, way before that kit came out. It was one of the first times I used putty, and it came out pretty decent. So here's that build, if I haven't shown it yet earlier in the video. And it's no longer with me, it's gone. But it will challenge you. So I figured I would share my story with this, share this info with you guys, and some of the dark times of RC2 when they were putting these kits out, and the box arts didn't necessarily represent what was in the kit. So you would see some options here that were misleading, and it would drive you nuts because you would think this stuff's in the box, but it's really not. But anyways, you guys, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments and everything. I really do appreciate it, you guys. And you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.